And now for something completely different. Something positive.
Something very I'm positive. Stoked on.
We're both pretty fucking excited about this.
Anna Gasser did a triple.
A lot of people are calling it like a triple cork or a triple cork. And realistically,
it wasn't an off-axis spin.
Yeah, it was really looking at it, it was a 180 triple backflip 180. So like a 360 triple backflip or whatever you want to
like it's like two rodeos pretty much put in with a third with a flip in the middle of it. I don't really care.
Yeah, end of the day, she went upside down 3 times.
Yeah, like on a big ass jump, this will change women's snowboarding. So this, along with Chloe Kim's double in the half pipe,
yep,
they're on another level. This next generation right now that's looking up to these girls.
We finally have a couple pro snowboarders that are not part.
All right, yeah. So little technical difficulty there, but we're back. Women's Anti-Progression League is the league of women that refuse to spin above a 7 in competitions.
And I like to believe that Jamie Anderson is the queen of that league.
She could be. She's anti-vaccination, so it probably makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Yeah. So, Chloe Kim and Anna Gasser, current generation of women's snowboarding. The next generation that comes up looking up to them is going to know that this is doable.
Right. And that was the thing for the longest time is all of these women were claiming that like, oh, we don't have the strength or we don't have the power to be able to do this, which if you knew snowboarding well enough, you knew it was a load of shit. Because you had kids like Red were doing doubles at 11. Yeah. Are you seriously telling me that a full-grown 24-year-old healthy professional athlete woman is weaker and less powerful than an 11-year-old boy?
Well, I remember the argument was, well, we can't hit the big jump like the guys can, and I literally watched little Justin Phipps when he was 10 clear a 90-foot jump with a double backflip.
Right.
Or 70-foot or whatever it was.
And that's always been the case is mainstream snowboarding, the dude that's just watching X Games in the Olympics has no clue about Justin Phipps and has no clue about Red Gerard up until he was in the Olympics. So they had no idea that there was 10 and 11-year-old boys doing bigger tricks than full-grown women.
Right. And, well, let's be honest, this past Olympics did not help women's snowboarding.
No, it didn't. And that's the IOC's fault.
Yeah, the IOC could suck a fart out of my ass.
They fucked women. They fucked them.
So
they fucked
bad.
them so hard. And that was
so
frustrating to see because I was really looking forward to seeing that and seeing if somebody, because it was a global scale, was going to go ahead and push snowboarding at that largest event.
You know what this means going in for women's big air and slopestyle.
And that's what
Jamie Anderson will not be winning with a 720.
No, and that's what I've been screaming for the last 5-6 years. Is honestly, to be completely honest, is at Burton because they own one of the major contests. They own the Open.
Yeah,
and I've been begging for women's big air for years because that was the place that was going to start to push it because you can't win big air with a 7. Right.
Well, and people don't realize that back in the day there was women's big air.
Right. It used to exist, and then they got rid of it, and that was also, it used to be that, Jana Mayan in 2006 was doing front 9s off the toes.
Cab 9.
Front cab 9 off toes.
I watched that in person.
And suddenly it's still being called progression when, no offense to Spencer, I think she's a great rider, but when Spencer tried to do a 9 a couple years ago at the Open, and that was being called progression. How is that progression when, 8 years ago, it had already been done? That's not progression, that's degression. You guys
I think it's just...
Or stagnation, I guess. Yeah, realistically,
but
the chicks were doing the same tricks that they were doing now up until Chloe and Anna started pushing it, basically,
the fact that Jamie Anderson literally has won every contest with the same run.
Yeah, she hasn't changed her run at all. She's still doing 1s in the middle of her run. Yeah, that's insane.
7. 7's her biggest spin.
It's ridiculous.
That's
and
punk.
There is definitely some fault to the women, but I also can't not fault the brands because there's never been, to my knowledge, I've never really seen anything to support any sort of incentive for women to push it.
True.
Where anytime you saw one of them push it and then not do well, it almost felt like they got reprimanded for it. Like, oh, you needed to do well. We don't care if you're trying to do bigger tricks. We just want you to podium. That's it. Where on the men's side, there's value Like, you go out there and you botch both your runs and you get 30, 30, 30 on your 3 runs, but you were trying a trick that nobody else was doing. There's value in that, and the brands value that, and they show you that they value it. Where in women's snowboarding, it never felt like that.
No, it was more like they dragged them out to be a spectacle.
Yeah, and the way it was always kind of felt like to me, and there's a few exceptions, and I don't want to come across as an asshole male chauvinist, but pro women snowboarders for a long time, you had to look good in a bikini, and you had to look good on the front of a magazine. No, exactly. And that was it. And they cared so much more about that than they cared about the way you rode.
You know what I love about women's snowboarding right now is the fact that we got so many women's movies this year.
Oh yeah, so hyped on that.
So good, and it's everything.
Yeah,
you got a little bit of everything from street to POW and everything in between.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Robin Van Gyn got to go ride with Travis Rice, and Austin and all of them and ride POW. That's huge.
That's huge.
Huge. And she had a killer part, you know, and you look at that and you watch that and you're like, yeah, that's fucking solid. Like, you know, and it pisses me off because I have so many friends that have been sponsored and tried to do the pro thing and watch them just get burned out and they're like, I can't get ahead. This guy's getting 6 snowboards and I'm lucky if I get a used demo.
Yeah.
And you're just like, or one of my friends the one time, I think it was Melissa Ratano one time, she's like, they sent me a board, it's a 156. And I was like, what do you normally ride? She's like, a 146? They sent her a 10 centimeter snowboard, like 10 centimeter difference?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, K2's finally seeing the value in Melissa, which is I'm stoked on.
Well, when she left from Signal, that's awesome. And I'm stoked to see that. But I'm also stoked to see that there's like women that are in this ambassador role, that they're not like pro, they're like flow bro scenario, but they're getting their recognition. Like, I look at my friend Fancy Rutherford and filming with Too Hard and riding for Smokin' and shit. Fancy's a little older. She's definitely like the mom of the group and shit. And she came back from that huge plate in her arm and everything. She still gets after it. I'm in the street to the powder. You like look at Leanne Pelosi and like the progression that she had.
Yeah.
You know, or Hana.
Yep.
Hana in the backcountry. Like, I will like, doesn't matter what I'm doing. If I'm scrolling through the gram and Hana's got something to her in the backcountry, I'm just like, hey girl, how big you gonna send that? Oh damn, that was good. Like, that's how excited I get, where I'll just be like, Torstein, you know, and like all the guys and like going through and through and through, and then I stop and I'll watch Hana's video. And
like I'm actually more stoked to watch women's snowboarding right now than most of the men's stuff. Yeah.
It looks so much better, and they finally developed like good style.
Yeah, they actually have some style,
and it's so cool. Like they're not like this afterthought anymore. You know, they just. You know, I wish at the Olympics they had all just said, fuck you, and walked out.
Like, I really wish they would have, too.
I really wish they would have. I understand you're on the world stage. It would have looked bad, blah, blah, blah. In the long run, you would have made snowboarding so much stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
In that. But to see a woman do a triple when they just started doing doubles is amazing.
And not on like a small jump. It wasn't like a special built jump for it. She just fucking went and hit a massive jump.
Was that at 9 Queens? No, it was Stubai. It was somewhere over
in Stubai. I think it was just a big ass jump.
But still, the fact that the best is the video reaction afterwards. She's like
shaking like, I did it!
And she's like, I fucking did it! You're just like, yeah, you did!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, good for you. And then, you know, I don't know if you caught the new Too Hard movie.
I haven't seen it yet. I've seen clips from it and stuff, but
you know, there's some good stuff in the middle. There's some bad stuff. It's a Too Hard movie. It's got its pros and cons, but then it goes to Maria Thompson at the end. I have so much respect for that woman because she takes her kid to the street spots with her. Like that little guy is just grown up with mom hitting urban rails.
Yeah, that's so sick.
And I'm just like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it reminds me of the part from. It was one of the People movies, or I don't know, one of those older movies with Tim Eddy, and he brought his family in the van to the school to hit a bunch of features at the school, and he's got the whole family there involved. Like, that was awesome. Like, so that's so rad to see her bringing her kid.
Well, I mean, most people in snowboarding, it's like, oh, she had a kid, she's done.
Yeah,
like she's like, they just write you off.
I'm just gonna bring my kid with me.
Yeah,
like that's awesome.
Yeah, I tell you who I'm really stoked on is Ivica Jurgensen. rides for dynos. I'm waiting for like that blowout, super huge part. Like every year that I go to the riders pool and I wait for the women's, I get so disappointed when it's like that year that Haley Langland won. Yeah. And I was just like watching those video parts and I was like, really? You gave it to a fucking park rider? A park rider. Like her whole part is on a perfectly groomed park. They had to build the run-in to this.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. I could go on forever, but we're just two guys talking about women's snowboarding. There's going to be some pissed off women about this. We're going to get women.
I mean, you should be. We're excited about women's snowboarding right now. You shouldn't be pissed, but...
Oh, my God.
I'm sure we'll piss you off saying something.
Well, I always come across as being the bad guy at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. We got time for one more topic, and then we're going to do the outro.
Yep.